pull it up if you want to like introduce it for the recording.
Yeah, here we go. All right. So this is just a quick training, you guys, that we wanted to do on the business activity tracker, because I know that when you take a peek at this, it might intimidate you and it might overwhelm you. I have heard that from new coaches. So what Nicole, Kim, and I decided to do is we wanted to have a quick training going over the business activity tracker, so it won't be as scary. And as you guys know, these are all steps that you need to be doing on the daily to grow your business in the right direction. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and make Nicole the host. And you're all set, Nicole.
All right. So business activity tracker. First, as Kelly said, this can seem overwhelming at first, and Kim's on, right? I would love for her to chime in. We can like tag team like the actual filling of this out. First of all, no one expects you to fill out every single box every single day. And I know in like, this all depends on our personality, because I have some type 1 Enneagrams on my team who are like, I got to fill out every single box on that thing. And if I don't, I'm not, I have not completed my task. Whereas I'm a number 3. I don't know. I'm more like, okay, well, this is a guide that I'm going to use, right? Okay. So in terms of like the time commitment per activity, that is a recommendation. But it's not set in stone. I think the number one thing that the business activity tracker is going to be a benefit for you is that you can fill it out and you can look at the holes in your business. If you are not achieving your goals, you can say, wait, am I not doing one of these things like very often? And if so, how do I fill it in? And like, you have to look at your business. I've heard it many times. It's like a recipe for a cake, right? So there's all these different things that go into making the cake. You can't make it with just one ingredient or just 4 ingredients. You have to use all the ingredients to fill it in. And this is going to show you whether or not you are missing some of the important things. So high level, filling in the top part. The NWC is the National Wake Up Call, which is that on Team Beachbody 411 page at 8 a.m. on Monday mornings. You can go watch it live or the replay later, or you can download the Team Beachbody podcast on the podcast app. And I recommend never missing this call, because for me, this is where your belief in our products and your business is going to bloom, because every week you're going to hear from another person with a different background and with a different story. And they're going to tell you how the products changed their life and how the business changed their life. And in each of their stories, you're going to see something in you, and it's going to build your belief week by week. And that's what I said in that first thing, is like, you have to build the confidence over time. And part of that is your own confidence, but part of it is watching others do it and you thinking, if they can do it, I can do it. And then team call, you can mark that we have team calls less frequently than weekly, but so for here, I think it's important to have your why written down each week, and it can even change each week. So maybe your why this week is like, I want to hit Success Club. I want to qualify for the Diamond Retreat. Or maybe your why is like much longer down the road, but like, I like to just change it up each week and just remind myself, why am I filling out this activity tracker? Why am I showing up? Do I want to like, what do I want to be in the world? And then your target market, I think that's just a good exercise to write. Like, what are a few qualities? Usually this is you describing yourself. So my target market for me is runners, busy moms, type 3 Enneagrams who are achievers. Like the ideal person is someone who is already, my niche is someone who probably already fit, but wants to incorporate strength training into their running, or who needs a little bit of help with nutrition while they're also running. Okay, so then you get an easy check here with the be the proof the products work by checking off when you work out and when you drink your shake. And then this is the bulk, the connect, invite, follow up. This is the bulk of what we do on Power Hours. And so don't look at this time of 1 hour and 40 minutes and be like, oh man, I'm never going to have time to sit down for 1 hour and 40 minutes and do this, because none of us actually, most of us do not sit down for 1 hour and 40 minutes and work through this section every day. This is broken up into different times of day. And again, you don't have to spend the full time on it. It depends on your goals. So if you're busy, you work full time, you only have 30 minutes a day to work your business, do each of these activities, but break it up into 5-minute sections. If you're someone who has huge goals for this business, or even just talked to a coach the other day who's like, I just need realistically Monday, Wednesday, Friday are the days I can work the business activity tracker, and Tuesday, Thursday, I'm finding it hard. So she was like, I think I'm going to do I'm going to do double on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I'm not going to do it on Tuesday, Thursday. So that was her like compromise. She's like, I'm going to do a post on those days, but maybe I'm not going to do those activities, but at least I'm going to fill it out. So figuring out what you want to do. And like I've heard top coaches say that they work through the business activity tracker multiple times a day because those are their goals. So just knowing this is a guide and I essentially feel like if you do all of these activities on here, there is no reason why you wouldn't hit Success Club 5 or at least, or 10 even, if you were to actually do these activities. The problem is most of us don't do all the activities every day, right? And quickly to note, like I don't want to encourage anyone to work 7 days a week on their business. So I've been trying to figure out when my day off completely from it is. I think I'm moving back to a Saturday as the day that I don't work at all. Like I don't even want to check messages, but like knowing that you don't have to work your business every single day of the week, even though there's a column for it. Okay, why don't you take the initiate connections and add followers, Kim?
Okay, perfect. So I think that as I'm kind of walking through this with Nicole pointing this out, I think it just reminds us to go back to, there's a quote I put up yesterday on my Instagram stories, and this reminded me of the business activity tracker, which says, check your attendance before you're gonna complain about the progress, that you did or didn't have. And that's what this is all about, right? It's like, a lot of people in our group for Level Up have had some awesome goals. Like, I want to hit Success Club. I want to help 5 or 10 people. I want to hit Emerald. I want to hit Diamond. But like, if you're sitting at, the 12th of the month right now, and you haven't helped one person, then let's work backwards. And that's where this comes in, because we talked to you guys about this, and I'm going to dive into social media next week. So stay tuned. It's going to be really fun, Monday and Tuesday. But your storefront, your shop, is your social media. So I love this. This is the meat and the potatoes of your business. Obviously, the section we just went over for a minute there was you got to know your why. Why do you wake up every morning? Why do you carve out that time for the workout? Why do you do your nutrition? You do that so you feel good, so you have results, so you're proof of the product. Then we come into this part, which is our social media. So here's my biggest tip for you guys. The 20-minute, the 10-minute, all these things, as Nicole said, they're a gauge. But you might be somebody who's like, you know what? I know I'm going to be sitting at my kids' pickup line at this time, or I'm going to be sitting at their soccer game here and there, or they're online learning. Like me, I'm trapped at home every day. My daughter's in school 2 hours. We're home. So I commit to pulling out my tracker every day at noon and going through this. So I like to do the connections and the initiation on social media in a couple ways. And I'm going to make this really simple for you guys. So I hope that this makes it so easy for you to go and do. So there are really 3 ways that I believe you can use your initiation and your connections. The first is the post that you have done, okay? So the way you can initiate connections and even add followers is if you have a public account on Instagram or even Facebook. Facebook is not public for me, by the way, but people come see it, right? So I will look at my post. I will look at who liked it and commented, okay? Then I'm like, cool, that's where I'm going to focus. Set my timer 10 minutes. I'm going to go and engage with every single person that hit the like button on my post. Okay. That counts as connecting and engaging. It's like a touch. It's a little, hi, I see you. And you can send a DM to them. You can go to their page. You can like and comment on their stuff. That all counts. Okay. It doesn't all have to be private DMs. So the other thing I'll do is if somebody maybe liked or commented on my stuff on Instagram and I'm not following them, I maybe go to their page, love bomb them. That's a term we like to use, which is maybe 3 likes on a variety of their posts and like 1 comment and then follow. Okay. Because then you're on their radar. It's just a science of attraction, right? You're just going to get in somebody's space. So they notice you. Oh, who's this Kimspiration? I've never seen her before. And then they'll come back to my page and they might go, oh, she's a mom like me. Oh, this, oh, that. And then we start to have a little bit of a connection. So that's why it's so important that you're looking at who's in front of you. You did a post, and the reason you did a post is to be able to do this. Okay, so your main post is where you can do that. The other place you can do it is in your stories. You're posting in your stories, not just to post in your stories and let them disappear 24 hours later. You're posting in there so that you can go and do those connections. Hey girl, thanks for watching my journey. How are you? Or, oh my gosh, that workout I did this morning was so hard. I'm so sore. How are you? You see what I'm doing? I'm not inviting them. I'm just talking to them and going, hi, I see you. So that's how I love to use the initiate and the connection. Now this kind of trickles right into the other steps in this column. So your social media post, your lifestyle, your stories, it's all an opportunity for you to be, your story is open, to be proof of the product, to build trust, to build accountability with these people, because they know when they come to your page and they're like, I do this to Kelly all the time. I'm like, okay, I opened my eyes at 7 a.m. this morning. Let me see if Kelly really got up at 5 or 6 in the morning. And she did, because it's in her stories. And I know that. So I can count on her for showing up. That's why it's important that you're consistent on your posts and your stories. So I love the ideas in here. The tips of what to post. I think so many coaches get stuck on this. You guys, don't make it so overwhelming or serious. It's just you, it's life. It should not be all Beachbody. You do not want to be Beachbody boring. Okay. So yes, you want to sprinkle in your health, your fitness, your food. But if I go to your story and the only thing I see on your story today is like your containers and your meal, and that's your one story for the day, that's not cool. That's boring. That's not exciting. That didn't really make me want to come back for more. So kind of think of it as a little bit of a dance. Okay. I like to do this all the time. Like it's up, it's down, it's fun, it's lighthearted, it's serious. So you're going to want to go through the columns, and you don't do all every day. Just like Nicole said, it's a guide, because what happens is you come back at the end of the week and you're like, let me just look at my tracker. And you're going to notice, wow, I was really good about sharing my workouts this week, but gosh, I don't think I actually shared that I have a group, right? Or I didn't give a shout out to someone. People don't know I'm helping other people. So that's how the tracking really helps you understand the missing pieces that you can just add in here and there.
Okay.
So I
What
I can
about,
talk about this all day, but yeah.
I was gonna say, for newer coaches, 'cause a lot of these people are new and they don't have a lot of people commenting or liking or watching their stories. So what do you do to add new followers or get new eyes on your
I love this part because I really think that this is the fun, you guys, and this is where you break the barrier of your fear factor, okay? And this is where you've got to push forward and have a little confidence. It's not a big deal to go friend request people or to go like their stuff or engage with them or ask to follow them. That's what social media is for. The internet is free. Nobody owns it. Because I used to feel in the beginning like, what if I follow my best friend Sammy's friends? And then what happens when Sammy texts me and goes, how do you know Rachel in LA? And I'm like, I don't. We're just social media friends. That used to trip me up. And I would kind of get scared if I got called out like that by a friend, like, how do you know so and so? I saw you comment on her stuff. And I'd be like, I don't know. I run a lot of free groups. That's my answer to people these days, because it's true. I'm like, I just don't know. People find me, I find them. It's like what I do. I'm online a lot, so just own it, but go to your favorite friends who are not Beachbody, especially when you're trying to build. Okay. It's perfectly okay to do this. If they're similar to you, odds are you guys are going to connect, and they might really love what you're sharing and want to do what you're doing or come into your groups. So go and at least add, my guide is at least 5 a day in the beginning. I love how the recommendations come up both on Instagram and Facebook. Friends of friends are awesome, you guys. That gives you a mutual connection and builds trust. Like when I see that we have a couple mutual friends in common, I feel better about, hitting the request button. And then what I will tell you is don't overthink it. But if you do notice somebody accepted your friend request or followed you back, go ahead and send them a little DM and keep it short and sweet. But I like to say, hey, Nicole, thanks for accepting my friend request. I love getting to know other busy moms here on Facebook and also connecting with friends of friends, right? Because then you put yourself out there. It's not weird. You're just like, own it. Yes, and I might even say something like, you'll see, I know, I like to share things about health and fitness and my crazy mom life, just let them know you're human. So that's how I would go about adding people. And then one other way you can do that I love to do, especially on Instagram, if there's like a blogger or somebody on there, what do they call it? Influencer who you love, like you just vibe with that girl and you're like, oh, she's so cute. I love her family. I love her posts. I love her fashion. That's an awesome place for you to go. I have one in mind that I go to all the time. She's a huge following. I can't run out of people. I go to her recent post. I look at who's liking and commenting on it because that shows me that they're active on Instagram. And I will then go, oh, who's that person? And I'll just spend don't overwhelm yourself. Like I said, 5 people, but I'll go and I will engage on that person's account, like, comment, follow, because again, it just brings us into each other's spaces. So that's a great way for you guys to do it. So friends of friends with a mutual connection, influencers that you love, go to a recent post of theirs and see who's in their page, and you can follow those people.
Yeah, that's what I do. Another one that Shayla pointed me out recently is if you go and you search for, like you can search locations.
Mhm.
How do you do that again? I already lost it. Do you know how to do this? Okay,
I haven't searched locations before.
yeah, you go to the search, like, okay, at the bottom, the little magnifying glass, and you click in the search tab. You can, at the far right is places, and you can
Mm.
search near current location. So then you can see like what's near me. Okay, like maybe Encinitas Ranch trails or this trail system near my house. Like who's posting to that? I'm actually the top post on that one. But like,
Cool.
oh, they're on a trail system near my house. Maybe they're, and then you look at the pictures and you're like, that girl looks like she, she has kids. Like I want to follow her. And those
Cool.
kind of people, I wouldn't necessarily be afraid to request to follow if they're private, if they're like live near me. And then another one like, oh, there's an Orange Theory near me. Who follows? Who like goes to this place? Like,
Mhm.
because they might only be going to Orange Theory twice. I wouldn't follow everyone who goes to the Orange Theory near my house, but if I see moms who are at the Orange Theory, I'm like, ideally, I'm assuming they're not going 5 days a week to Orange Theory when they have young kids, but maybe. But
Mhm.
you could do other things like, oh, there's this like botanic garden near my house, and a lot of times people bring their kids there because there's a little park. There's parks you could look at who's tagged a park. Um, Other things like if you're a runner, for example, like local races in your, like who would like the Carlsbad Marathon? Runners who live near San Diego, right? So things like that, you can go, and the best way to get their attention is essentially, like Kim said, is to like follow them, like one of their posts, respond to one of their stories, like ideally like leave an engaging comment, not just like nice pick. Like, don't write that. Like, write something a little bit more engaging. And then it's their choice. They might like, so don't get, I think one of the biggest traps that I've seen people when we focus so much on social media is like, you have to know that building your social media and building those connections is it's a longer process. When you're a new coach, your warm market, your friends, your family, those are by far your most likely people to join you. You're like your group of girlfriends, your book club, your like people from your church, your coworkers, those are the people who are most likely to join you in the beginning and potentially even give you referrals, right? But the social media, these activities that we're doing on here are going to help expand your market and help you find new people, but don't get so caught up in how many people are following and unfollowing or how many people are liking all of that, because you have to remember, even though you're taking the time to engage with this person, they may never even notice that you followed them. So don't take it personally if they don't follow you back, right? You can always go in and like clean up and see, okay, who did I follow? Are they following me back? And give them one more try by like engaging with them again. And if they don't follow you back, then unfollow them. Okay, so, and this respond to all likes, comments, or views. I feel like this one and the first one are actually kind of similar in the sense that responding to all likes, comments, or views. So if someone does takes the time to leave a comment on your story or respond to one of your stories, or they take time to leave a comment on your post, just make sure that you're responding back to them. And if you can create a conversation within your post, that does help boost the engagement on it. In a sense that like if they ask you a question, you can respond back to their question, and then they'll have to come back to your post and it'll make it more. At the end of the day, like at this part is just kind of like I did all of these activities long before I started using the activity tracker, but it was more organic. And like sometimes we can get very much in like, we're checking off the box, we're doing this thing. But if you just think of it as like, I'm going online and I'm connecting, I'm using my time intentionally to connect with new people and to engage and develop relationships, then it feels a lot better than thinking like, I'm just going to check in a list and like, see who can get to follow me back, right?
Yeah. And it's fun, you guys. I don't know, not for everybody, but if you thrive on like connection, it actually can really be fun in your day. That's how I feel sometimes when I get that conversation going from people or they write you back and they're like, yeah, you really are inspiring. Like, don't be afraid to send the message because you're afraid of what the response is. Because 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be positive and you're just wondering if it's that one little negative. So don't worry about it.
Yeah. And I've heard someone say once, it's not about the quantity of followers, it's about the quality of your followers. So like, for example, I was like accountability partners with this coach who's very successful 10-star diamond leader. And I feel like she has like 1,400 followers, which is great, but it's 1/10 the amount that I have, but she makes more money than me and has a bigger team than me. And it's because she was like, I know every person that follows me. I have a conversation. So like if someone responds to my story, I might not have time to ask them a question back, right? But if someone responds to your story and, you know, or even if they heart it or they do something to engage with you, use that as an opportunity to ask them a question back and to continue the conversation, not just be like thanks or and like move on. Like make those relationships with the people who are taking the time to connect with you, to make them deeper, right? Because those are the people who are going to be your biggest fans, who maybe refer you if they never join you, or that you're just going to connect with and feel really good about the relationship that you're building with these people online, and it's not all superficial. I feel like sometimes I like lose the joy in my social media when it's so much quantity and not enough quality.
I'm going to add something. So I don't know if you guys listened to our team call for the Fit and Balance Tribe on Tuesday, but Megan Seals, who is a 10-star diamond coach, prior teacher, makes over, I mean, way over 6 figures. She was saying how she looks at her Instagram as her family. Like she's like, not everyone is going to love my long posts. Not everyone's going to love that I talk about faith. Not everyone's going to love that I talk about divorce or Dave Ramsey and how we've saved. She's like, but when you get so specific on your niche and who you're talking to, and you're not talking to everyone, that is when you become, or when your followers become fans and family, right? So I want people before they join me go, I feel like I kind of know you, Kelly. I feel like I know a little bit about your family. I know kind of what you do in your challenge groups. I can tell, like, if I join your team, this is what's going to happen. But when you're starting out, I had blinders on. I didn't think about growing my following. I wasn't like, oh, that's my goal. I need to grow following. I need to have more followers, right? Because you can look at myself, Kim, or Nicole and get intimidated. Like, how did they get to where they are? But you guys, it's been years in the making. And so like Nicole said in the beginning, it's really about sharing your journey, staying consistent, right? And blinders on. If one post flops or multiple posts, that's okay. You learn it and you grow from that. And you just know, like, okay, you know what? I'm going to keep going. I'm going to still show up at least 3 posts a week. I'm going to show up in my stories every single day. And you, like I said, you just have blinders on. So if we took you back to Kim's Instagram for when she started, she has grown so much, but she didn't give up. She's like, I'm just having fun. Use social media as your ultimate accountability, right? And that's why we say you got to share your story. You got to share those daily clips, because that is how people begin to gain trust with you. But that doesn't happen within a month. That doesn't happen within 3 months sometimes. People need to see you continuously doing it. And then all of a sudden you'll get those messages from your cold market that you didn't know. And they'll be like, hey, I've been following you for a little while. You've been inspiring me. Your story resonates with me. And all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I don't even know who you are. This is cool, right? But that takes time.
Yeah.
And so
I think showing up over perfection, and like even I remember Kim and also my coach Jenny, who just started, like they post a lot on social media, and like my like initial thing with like newer coaches, I'm like, you don't have to post a lot, but honestly you learn through every post. So whether or not it is like, if you want to grow faster, do more trial and error, and it doesn't have to be perfect, but like Kim learned and Jenny has learned from every reel that they've done or every post that they've done. And I started doing a little bit more reels, and I'm like totally out of my comfort zone with them because I'm not a dancer. I'm the lip syncing. I'm like all of it. I'm not pointing to anything, but I'm starting to like get my groove, and I know that that's not my strength, but I'm like, you know what, I'm trying, and with each one I learn, and like that's the way I'm looking at it. And that's the way you kind of have to look at it too, is like, okay, if I just show up and I share my journey, it doesn't have to be this long thought out post every day, but if I'm sharing something, I'm in people's newsfeed, they're thinking about me, they're seeing this, and the people you want are going to stick around, and they're going to know you better than so what, like she said, like so well. So yeah, even though I say baseline of 3 posts a week, but like the stories really is where you have to show up like every single day.
And I would give you guys like a guide, do at least 5 stories a day. That's not a lot. 15 seconds a story, add it up. It's like a couple minutes of your day. And I'll teach you guys about this next week, but there's ways you can even like save content for stories. Like if you do a grocery run on Sunday, but you want to share it on Tuesday, take your pictures, put it away. So I just want you guys to realize that you've got to show up in stories every day. Don't go dark. We're really here to teach you.
Yeah. I also, when I'm going through this engaging part where I'm going through my, like other people I follow stories and I've been doing this a lot lately. I'm going through their stories so that I can engage with them, respond, ask them questions. If I see something they shared that I like, I'll save it or screenshot it or save it to a collection so that I can share it later and use its content. Like if I realize, oh, I haven't posted a story in like many hours today, I'll go like, oh, what did I save? And I'll just post it so that there's something, there's something up so that like I'm still there and I didn't have to even think about it, right? So anyways, yeah, we're getting on a tangent on social media, but the
Oh.
next part is inviting. And this is important because this is probably the part where you're going to see the big holes where you're like not doing it consistently. I encourage you to, I like to tally my invites here to keep myself honest. Or at the very minimum, don't check it off unless it's 5 people, because 5 people, 5 days a week is 25 people a week. And that's not that many people. I know you're probably like, oh my God, that's a lot of people, but you have to be consistently inviting and sending those invites in a way that you feels good to you. So we all have different ways that are going to feel good to us, but we always are sharing scripts or different simple ways for you to invite. So like new coaches, we have exact invites that you can send, but as you grow into your confidence, you're going to want to send those in a way that feels good to you. So like I often will send an invite in a way that like I leave it at the end with like, if not, no worries, but just wanted to ask because I thought of you. Like I always give them kind of an out, whereas you'll hear other coaches be like, no, I asked them a direct question, but I'm like, I just want to, like, it makes me feel comfortable to send an invite if I send it this way. So if I'm going to not send them because I'm going to talk myself out of it, it's better for me to send it in a way that feels good to me, right? And I think that it was Debbie who in our, like, we were talking about our limiting beliefs that said like, it's hard for her to send the invite. And I was this way. When I first started coaching, I did have a small social media following. And so I was like, attraction marketing all the way. I'm just going to post about my groups and whoever comes to me will come to me. And thankfully, I had enough influence and I was showing up enough on social media that at least 3 people would come to me every month so I could hit Success Club every month. But once I started inviting and sending those invites, that's when my business took off because I was reaching so many people that would not have come to me. And my favorite analogy is the party or the play date. I do it either way, but say someone posted on Facebook, they said, I'm so excited. We're going to have this amazing play date on 2:00 at this park on Friday. And you're invited. All moms are invited to my play date at 2:00 on Friday at this park. You might see that post if you know this woman and you're like, I know her, but like, I don't know her that well. And you might think, that sounds fun. Like, I'd like to go, or like, I'm curious, like, but I'm not actually going to go because I don't really feel like that's for me. But if that woman followed up and said, hey, I don't know if you saw, but I'm having a play date at the park at Tuesday or on Friday at 2 p.m. I really like for you to come. Like, you'd be way more likely to come, right? Like if you're someone thought of you and invited you personally. So sometimes those invites are just what you need. Like, I can't tell you how many times I'll invite someone and they'll say, I have been thinking about it actually, especially with coaching. They'll be like, I have thought about it many times. And I'm like, well, why don't you take my poll? But it's like, you have to sometimes invite someone. And I think what Debbie said was she feels like she's confident in her own health and fitness. And I think sometimes when you do the invite, you can feel like, oh man, am I implying that they like need to lose weight or they like need this? But the way I look at it, because like I said, my market is fit people. So, or generally people who like to work out. So I never prejudge and think, oh, because they do CrossFit or oh, they run or oh, they do this or they do Peloton, so they're not going to want to join me. No, I think they love working out. Maybe they want to try something new. So you like thinking that's another, red light, green light story. When you're going to sit down and invite, think of the green light story. I could change someone's life. They might be looking for something new. They might be struggling and they need my help. So yeah, Kim, do you have any more advice on the
No,
invite?
I think that that's spot on. I like all the things you said. I think that we do want to prejudge and we shouldn't. So I love that part. I think that also what I want to touch on, I think it's the next one. So the value part is, especially for new people, remember that when you're showing up in social, it's awesome to share what others are doing in your group, in our community, like the transformations, even the text messages you might get from people, because that showcases to people, oh, it's not just about her, like there's other people doing this with her, right? So it's so important that we always get consumed, I think, with we have to be the face of it, we have to be the product of it, we have to show our transformation. That's true, but there's so much value in pulling the things from your bod groups, from our team stuff, like ask for transformations if you need more, but make sure you sprinkle those in too, because it showcases kind of what you're doing to people visually.
You're talking about the recognition shout out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I like really think it's powerful. Even if you're in a bod group with me and like someone else in the group that's my person comments and they say like, did my workout this morning, like just wanted to share, like I'm down 3 pounds, or maybe I just feel stronger than ever. You can screenshot that, just blur out their name in stories. You can just use the little like, what is it called? It's the little pin. If you add it, you screenshot it, you add it to your stories, you can use the little pin, you can search it on white, and then you can cross out their last name, just put their first name. And then you can say like, look at one of the girls in our accountability group said today. Or if someone does send you a text, if I ever share their picture, I always ask for permission for sure. So you want to make sure you ask that. And most people are fine with it. You say, can I just share this to my stories? I'm so proud of you. That's amazing. Or when they text you and they're all excited about something, and that can be the same for your new coaches. Say you signed on a new coach and they send you a message and they're like this happened. If you could like show that, like, look, one of the coaches, like we're having success, we're doing this, like sharing that, like that recognition. And you can even shout out other coaches on our team for doing a program and having success with it, or their rank advancement, and be like, look at our team, it's grown. You know what I mean? Like you can recognize people. It doesn't have to be your people that you bring in. And then the last one is follow up on here. So follow up with people you've invited. This is super important because I cannot even tell you, and I think like it's helped me recently to be on the other side of working with someone in direct sales, because I, like a year and a half ago, this girl reached out to me about mascara makeup, and I was like, took the picture of like my skin, and she like profile matched me, and then she sent me a link. Never heard from her again. And honestly, I forgot her screen name. I had no idea who she was. I had no way to follow up with her. And I was like, well, I guess she didn't really want to sell me this makeup, right? I was like, I'm over it. So a year and a half later, like literally 2 months ago, this girl reached out. Do you want to, makeup? And I was like, okay, I'm going to do it this time. So I sent her the thing. She has been so diligently following up with me. It has been amazing. Like she followed up. She wasn't pushy. She did it great. So I sent her the color, my face, sent me the options. And then I honestly wrote back and I said, I need you to email me this information. I'm an email person. So like sometimes maybe the forum that you're doing it in, like when I get a DM, I kept forgetting her name. And I was like, I will see your email if you email it to me. So maybe sometimes say like, is it better if I email you the information? Yeah. Just ask. I'm an email person. So I was like,
and I'm the opposite. It's funny because I've learned to ask that question from learning from Nicole, where I'm like, if you want to get my attention, you want me to know info, you got to text it to me. And I'm like, send me the link, send me the form, send me the video. And I was telling Catherine this the other day on DM. I'm like, I just learned my way. Nicole spreadsheets and emails, and that's her system, even for like new coaches. And I've realized in the last couple of months, I'm like, no, I make a YouTube video and I say, hi, I'm video. Here's your next steps. And I say, watch this video. But I have learned to say, if you prefer email, let me know. I'll email you. So we're the opposite.
Yeah. But if she had, luckily she did follow up, she sent me the email and then she followed up and said, hey, have you had a chance to check in? And because we had no deadline, we are lucky, you guys, we have deadlines. Make sure you have a challenge group date and say, the challenge group starts this day. Because this girl, my deadline was honestly the retreat, the leadership retreat. I was like, I want to get my makeup before the leadership retreat. So it took me a month to order. And she followed up with me twice. And then I finally ordered because she followed up. And then once I bought the product, she followed up 3 times to ask me how it was. And I think that's another place that I personally sometimes fall off, is like making sure, like once they actually buy something, besides putting them in the group, that they are using it and enjoying it. But anyways, I know that was a lot of information there, but essentially so my follow-up strategy is, as soon as someone says they have interest in buying anything from you or they want information, make sure you write their name down, their Instagram handle down. because I can't tell you how many times people will say they want information or they answer your poll and you follow up and you're like, thanks for taking my poll. Like, tell me more. Like, what did you ask them a couple questions, they never write back. And that's not, again, this, don't take it personally. This is, they got busy, they lost their message. So making sure that you have their name written down so that you can go back and say, oh, like, I know this, just wanted to check back in, and ask them a question again, say, like, did you, the group starts next week, did you still want me to send you information? And then once you do get them sent like an email or a share a cart, making sure that you write that down as well. And then you follow back in with them. I usually will go like 2 days after I send a share cart or I send information, check back in. And then with my final last call, so my group starts Monday. So today's going to be my last call messages where I reach out and I say, hey, I just wanted to let you know I set up our group. I'm so excited for you. I saved you a spot in my group. Are you still planning to join us? And then usually I can get a response from that, either a no or a yes, which is fine if it's a no. And then if it's a no, I write that I know that next month I'm going to follow back up and send them another follow-up saying, hey, I know last month didn't work out, but I have another group coming up and I wanted to see if now's a better time. So it's kind of like the 3 follow-up method.
That's why this is so awesome, you guys, because when you sit down and you're like, oh my God, I know I haven't helped anybody yet. I know I really set a goal for 3 people. You've got this list and just go back to the list. That's what this is so great. It's so simple, pen to paper.
Okay. So the last sections are about just adding value to your bod groups. Recognizing achievement is like recognizing your challengers, and when you're a newer coach, you might not have this as much because this includes like recognizing your personally sponsored coaches, and also recognizing your challengers. So you might not have as much of that, but maybe take time once a week to recognize people from your group who are showing up. And as you grow in your business, this will be more. And then respond to questions from customers and coaches. And then personal development, which I would consider this call your personal development for today if you have not done anything today. Okay, and then I do recommend filling this part out at the bottom. And again, don't get caught up in the number of new followers, and just always know when you're looking at that stats on Instagram that people do the same. I mean, there's people out there that unfollow. You're gonna have people unfollow you every single day, and I just look at it and think, it wasn't because they don't like me, it's because they were trying to get me to follow them back. I'm always reminding myself the positive on the story. The red light story is I annoyed someone with my post today and they unfollowed me. The reality is most people are unfollowing you on a daily basis to see if you'll follow them back. And if you didn't follow them back, or some people, even if you follow them back, will still unfollow. That's what you have to look at it as. So if your number of new followers is never increasing at all, then that's something we need to think about, right? What's going on? Why are we not adding new followers? And then same with number of new challengers, number of new coaches, and your Success Club points. If you are tracking this, there's some kind of phrase, what you measure, you can't grow what you don't measure, right? So knowing like what is going on in my business and taking time each Thursday to go back and reflect is going to be really helpful. So hopefully you've already printed these out, if this one or the other one, and have started using it, because next Thursday we'll put up a post and we'll ask you to drop your tracker in there so that we can look it over and see where your holes are, and you can identify where your holes are. So make sure that you're using it this week. And if you didn't do it yesterday, just go back and guess what you did yesterday by checking it off and then start today.
And you guys, I'm going to sweeten the deal for you. Anybody who does their tracker, drops it next week, and also has helped at least 2 people by next Friday, I will be giving you guys a social media audit call. So obviously, if it's just a few people, it'll be really intimate. If it's more, then, I'll figure it out if I divide it up. But I would love you guys to work for that, because I think that would be so fun to do. So that means get your tracker done for the next week, starting today through next week, and then sign up 2 people with challenge packs. So you're at least SC4 to earn that social media audit.
Cool.
Yeah.
And we're going to also have you guys audit each other's next week, right?
Yep. I'm going to do that. I'm going to pair you guys up.
So yeah, and the last quick reminder is make sure you do that training that I shared. I'll do another reminder today. It's the mindset training, and make sure you comment with your takeaway, because we are that's basically the foundation of your business is your mindset, and everything we just told you isn't going to really matter if you're not, if you don't actually work on your mind. So make sure that you do that assignment and that you comment by Sunday, because we are going to go through and take people out of the group who aren't participating, because we want this group to be a group of people who are here, who are contributing, and we want you guys to feel safe and excited about participating. And if it's like half the group is not doing anything, then that's not very like exciting for you either, right? So we want to just like keep the integrity of the group. And if you do not end up not doing it and life gets busy, then that's okay. There's going to be future trainings, but know that we love you and we will wish you the best when we remove you from the group.
So I saw that Rebecca asked, what do you say to them after they say no? So is this what, are you wondering, Rebecca, like after you follow up with them and they say no?
Yeah, exactly. Like sometimes, I've read other trainings and they say like, leave them with some value. Like if you reach out to them and you had a little bit of conversation with them and they say, no, thank you. Like, what do you say when you respond back to them? Just a really nice, like lesson release type of thing, or maybe I'll follow up with you, or maybe in the future, like I kind of do something to say goodbye to them, but not, like a see you later type of comment.
I generally try to like say thank you. Like, I don't say thank you for responding, even though I am thankful they actually responded, because not everyone does. But I try to continue the conversation in some way, partially because I want them to know that the relationship isn't just me trying to like get them into my group or sell them or have them be a coach. So I'll usually ask them another question. Or like this, like the example of adding value, this girl, like she's, she shares a lot of recipes and she's growing. She was like, oh, I'm actually going to try to focus on my own business and like growing on Pinterest. And so I was like, oh, let me share this like Pinterest, like this like Pinterest article I read that was really good. And so I did give her some value, but a lot of times I'll just like say like, oh, okay, no worries. Like, what are you training for right now? If they're runner, I talk to a lot of runners. So I'll just change the conversation and keep the conversation going usually. And it will fizzle. It's not like we're having this long drawn out conversation after I invite them, but I like to just like respond the conversation and continue it instead of just saying, okay, thanks. Because then it just obviously shows that that's all I cared about.
Right. I do that too. Like I really try to say something nice, but there's some people where I have like this really nice intro and, they've liked or commented on my post. And then like, I just get like a short, no, thank you. And like, there's really no room to ask them anything because I don't know a whole lot about them. Just wondering if I should respond to those people who just sort of give me the cold shoulder type of response.
Yeah, that happens. And I love what Catherine said is, I personally have learned the hard way, like where people have said yes to me after being like, you know what, Kelly, you're right. Like after I said, all right, well, I just wanted to follow up because last month you were saying you just wanted to make time for yourself by being a busy mom. And I'm going to have some in a second. And, when they tell me like, yes, Kelly, you know what, you're right. Okay, let's do this. And then if they're really not ready and then I sign them up and they're not participating and they're like, I just wasn't ready. And then they cancel. So I always say like, just let them know too. Thanks, Sammy. Let them know that you are always there. Like, all right, sounds good. Well, just so you know, I run these groups monthly and how about I reach back to you in a month or next time, and I just let them know, like, I'm always here when you're ready. And then I leave it. And then maybe like a month later, I'll be like, hey, how's it going? I just wanted to follow up with you. I have my new boot camp starting in 2 weeks. And I just thought of you because I know this is something that you had wanted to do in the past, or you seemed intrigued, or you took my poll, or, whatever it might be. And you never know when that person will come around. Sometimes they just ignore you and you have to just know, okay, well, that's why you're doing this and building your pipeline, because you can never be like, okay, well, I have 3 girls I'm talking to and I'm sure they're going to come and buy from me. No, you have to look at it like, no, I'm stacking bricks, or, I always look at it as like my pipeline, right? And then you never know when you share your transformation that day, or you share and you get vulnerable about how much this has changed your life. That person reads it and goes, I'm ready, and that's why we say, stay consistent. You never know when that message is going to resonate with that fan, that follower. And then when you follow up, it gives them an opportunity to say yes, right?
And you guys, one little thing, I'll talk to you guys about it next week, but if you want to download the app, it's so helpful. It's called Reach, R-E-A-C-H. I love it. It doesn't matter if you've signed up 2 people or 5 people or 20 people. It allows you to create like a mass text message, and you can change your messages, you can save them and personalize it. So knowing that I have a group starting on Monday, I have just sent a text. Some of you on my team will get it. Kind of just saying like, hey, so excited, make sure you take the weekend, blah, 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 blah. But you can use that app and it's free and it's awesome. And it's not like a crazy system to manage, but it allows you to kind of keep your stuff like in one area and especially stay connected. Because that, if you're like me, it's really important for me to know that I've done my part for people, even if they ignore me or they ghost me. I'm like, well, I told them what's happening. It makes me feel better. I delivered, even if they don't use it. So get that app. It's super cool. You'll love it. That's it.
Cool. Thanks everyone for being here.
Guys, thanks for your time.
Make sure you get on a power hour. Power hours are key. So you can work on this with other people. It helps.
All right. See you guys soon. Kelly, you taking a video or something? Okay. She said a boomerang. Okay. Bye, guys.
Bye.